The air was thick with the promise of rain as 5 friends gathered at the rusted gates of Moonlight Amusement Park. Once the crown jewel of the small town of Bramblewood, the park had been abandoned for over 3 decades, shrouded in rumors of strange disappearances and inexplicable accidents. Chloe, the self-proclaimed leader of their group, held a flashlight in one hand and the edge of the gate in the other. "This is going to be epic," she grinned, her eyes gleaming with excitement. "A real adventure." Ethan, her skeptical but loyal best friend, sighed. "Epic or stupid? Why do I feel like it's the latter?" Behind him, Lily clung to her boyfriend Jake's arm. She had always been the most cautious of the group, her wide eyes darting around nervously. "Maybe we should just go back to Chloe's and watch a movie or something. This place gives me the creeps." "That's the point," Jake teased, ruffling her hair affectionately. "Don't worry. It's just an old park. What's the worst that could happen?" The 5th member of their group, Max, a thrill seeker with a perpetual smirk, pushed past them. "Enough talking. Let's see what's inside. They say this place was cursed, right? I want to meet the ghost of the Tilt-A-Whirl." With a groan of strained metal, Chloe pushed the gate open. It groaned like a dying creature, the sound echoing into the darkness. Beyond lay a crumbling wonderland, rusted roller coasters twisted like skeletal remains, booths with faded paint and peeling signs advertising cotton candy and carnival games, and a carousel frozen mid-spin, its horses locked in grotesque expressions. The group stepped inside, their footsteps crunching on overgrown gravel. The air felt different here, thicker, heavier, and laced with an inexplicable chill. Above, the clouds swallowed the moon, plunging them into near darkness save for the beam of Chloe's flashlight. "Welcome to Moonlight Amusement Park," Chloe announced theatrically. "Population, us." They wandered the park, their nervous chatter filling the silence. At first, the exploration felt like a harmless adventure. Chloe led the way, shining her flashlight into forgotten corners, while Max climbed onto the rusted remains of a roller coaster car, pretending to operate the controls. It wasn't until they reached the first attraction that things began to feel wrong. The group stopped in front of the funhouse, a towering structure of warped mirrors and garish clown faces painted on its facade. The entrance was a gaping mouth with jagged teeth and a faded sign above read, "Laugh your worries away." "Nope. Nope. Nope. Nope," Lily muttered, pulling Jake's arm. "I'm not going in there." "Oh, come on," Chloe said. "It's just a bunch of mirrors. What's the worst that could happen?" "You keep asking that," Ethan grumbled. "One day, the universe is going to answer." Despite their reservations, they followed Chloe inside. The funhouse smelled of mildew and rot, the air cool and damp. The mirrors along the walls were cracked and smeared, reflecting their distorted images back at them. Chloe's laughter echoed through the maze as she struck exaggerated poses in front of a mirror that stretched her into a long, gangly figure. "See? Harmless," she said, grinning. But then the lights flickered. Once, twice, and then went out completely. For a moment, they stood in pitch-black silence, their breaths loud in the confined space. A faint giggle broke the stillness, high-pitched and unnatural. It wasn't Chloe. "Who's there?" Max called, his voice wavering. The lights returned, but something was different. In the mirrors, their reflections no longer mimicked their movements. Instead, they stood still, watching them with hollow, unblinking eyes. Lily screamed. The group fled the funhouse, stumbling into the open air, their hearts pounding. But the park had changed. The rides, once lifeless and decayed, now grown to life. The carousel's lights flickered on, casting an eerie glow as its horses began to move, their mouths opening and closing as if they were trying to speak. The Ferris wheel creaked, its rusted frame shuddering as it turned slowly. This isn't possible," Ethan whispered. Chloe shook her head, trying to regain her composure. "It's just some kind of prank. Someone's messing with us." But deep down, they all felt it. The park was alive. As they moved deeper into the park, strange figures began to appear. At first, they thought it was their imagination, shadows flitting between booths, glimpses of movement in the corner of their eyes. But soon, the figures became clearer, humanoid shapes with grotesque, exaggerated features. A man with an impossibly wide grin shuffled toward them, his eyes like empty voids. A woman in a tattered dress swayed unnaturally, her limbs bending at odd angles. "Run!" Jake shouted. They sprinted through the park, the twisted inhabitants in pursuit. The attractions seemed to conspire against them, paths that should have led to exits looping back to where they started. The laughter that had seemed distant before now surrounded them, a cacophony of manic, disembodied voices. As they ran, they stumbled upon an old carnival game booth. A sign above it read, "Win your freedom." Behind the counter stood a figure dressed as a ringmaster, his face hidden by a cracked porcelain mask. "Step right up," the figure said, his voice smooth and chilling. "A game of chance. Win, and you may leave. Lose, and you'll stay here forever." Chloe stepped forward, trembling. What do we have to do?" The ringmaster gestured to a spinning wheel divided into segments, each marked with cryptic symbols. "Spin the wheel. Face your fears. Only the bravest will survive." One by one, they were forced to play. Each spin unleashed a nightmare tailored to their deepest fears. For Chloe, it was being buried alive. She found herself clawing at dirt that wasn't there. For Lily, it was drowning, the air thickening around her as she gasped for breath. Max faced a swarm of insects, Ethan an endless void of nothingness. Jake, the last to spin, was confronted by a twisted version of Lily, her face melting as she accused him of failing her. Weakened and terrified, the group realized that the park fed on their fear, growing stronger with every scream and shiver. "We have to stop being afraid," Ethan said. "It's the only way to weaken it." It was easier said than done. The park threw everything it had at them, grotesque creatures, collapsing pathways, illusions of loved ones begging for help. But together, they fought to suppress their terror, reminding each other of what was real. Finally, they reached the gates. The figures pursued them, clawing at their heels, but as the friends' resolve strengthened, the park began to crumble. The lights flickered and died, the rides groaning to a halt. With one final push, they burst through the gates, collapsing onto the ground outside. When they looked back, the park was gone. Only an empty field remained, the air silent and still. But as they walked away, a faint giggle echoed on the wind, and a single carnival ticket fluttered to the ground at their feet.